What is up, Mavs fans? Back today yet again for the Bibbs Corner podcast. I apologize, I haven't been doing them after every game, but these back to backs, you just have to rest every now and then. We'll get into more about that specific topic a little later, but I really came into this day prepared to talk about both games, but after the atrocity that was displayed before us tonight, I don't know how much I'm going to say about the Spurs game. We'll see when we get there. The Mavs are playing with our emotions, up and down, back and forth. We still have guys out due to COVID. Obviously, that's going to be a factor, but man, it would be great to be healthy. I'm just waiting for the day when this team is healthy. Let's get to it. Hello and welcome back yet again to the Bibbs Corner podcast. I am your host, as always, Mike Bibbins, on Twitter at Bibbs Corner for all of the sports content. Back for another double dip. The Mavs played their two in-state rivals back-to-back, Friday at San Antonio and then tonight against the Rockets at home. Not like any of that matters with the lack of fans in attendance, but whatever. They won against the Spurs and they lost against the Rockets, and I wish it was that simple, but there's a lot more that needs to be said about these two games. For one, in the first game, the game we won against the Spurs, we had our full complement of healthy players available to us. Luka gave us 36, 9, and 11. Was pretty much doing whatever he wanted on the court as per usual. Porzingis piled in 21 and 8, which is about where he's at right now as far as being worked back into the system. Luka continues to knock down the mid-range jumper. KP did some work in the mid-range as well. Hardaway supplied 21. Brunson also started, and apparently that's the move right now is with Brunson in the starting lineup. He had 16 points, 4 boards, and 6 assists, looking like a sexy trade asset. Green had 6 boards for us in that game. Burke gave us 13 off the bench. Willie Cauley-Stein had 7 and 4 in his 14 minutes. It was a complete effort by the team. We had a lead. We almost blew it near the end, but we held on to win. Besides Aldridge deciding to hit threes, and DeRozan had a big game with 29. Rudy Gay off the bench, 16. Patty Mills off the bench, 13. Pretty much the vets all had pretty good games. And then Keldon Johnson had 17 points and 14 boards, which the 14 boards, under normal circumstances, I might have called that surprising, but we did go small. KP was the lone big in the starting lineup. In that game, we started Josh Green at the 4. And I guess technically you could say Luka is the 4 in that lineup. But Brunson, Green, Hardaway, Luka, and KP was the 5. So I'm fine with that lineup against certain matchups. I assume that Rick will switch it up depending on the matchups. I guess we'll have to find out. But a good win, a solid win. We're basically, with our COVID situation, we just want to kind of split games here. But at the same time, it would be great to put our best foot forward. And that's where we move to today's game, where we did not put our best foot forward. KP, for all intents and purposes, is healthy as far as anyone is aware. If anybody is banged up and needs rest, it's probably Luka. But the team made the executive decision to rest Porzingis tonight, which kind of annoyed me to begin with. That news also came out directly after the Rockets announced that they were resting Oladipo and that Wood will still not be back with his ankle injury that he suffered earlier in the week. It kind of felt like the Mavs said, all right, they're out 2 of their starters. We can afford to sit out Porzingis and still win this game. And this is not the first time that we've done this. I think it was Tim Hardaway Jr. we sat out for the Bulls game in the same type of scenario where for all we know, he was as healthy as he's usually going to be, but we decided to sit him out because we didn't think we needed him against a team that wasn't full strength, and it backfired on us. Again, same thing happened tonight. We sit out KP, which means Willie Cauley-Stein is forced into the KP spot. That is, we stayed with the same lineup from the prior game, except KP now Willie Cauley-Stein moved into KP spot, and Boban moved into Willie Cauley-Stein's spot. So basically the starting lineup is Luka, Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, and Willie Cauley-Stein. Right out of the gates, the Rockets were killing us immediately. Cousins was too big for Willie Cauley-Stein, and he also decided to hit threes tonight. He became Mount Splashy, as I called him. First 25-15 game since 2018, so that was fun. But, the threes, it's whatever. Like, you can't, just like Aldridge, you can't predict that he's going to suddenly be able to hit threes when he hasn't been hitting them all season and for most of his career. That is what it is. I'm not going to, let me address this, actually. I see a lot of people complaining when guys are hitting threes and saying, oh, you're not defending them. A guy hitting a three who is not a three-point shooter, you can't say that that's just bad defense on the defender's part. That's probably the game plan, is to allow that person to shoot a three, especially when that person does a lot of their damage or more of their damage in closer to the basket, like a Aldridge, like a DeMarcus Cousins. The game plan was likely to play off of them and allow them to shoot that shot if they're going to, versus letting Cousins barrel through Willie Cauley-Stein's chest, get him into foul trouble, and or just get easy buckets inside. So now after he hits a couple, maybe you want to play him a little bit tighter, but you don't want to fly out past him and create more problems for your defense. So that becomes tricky. At the same time, it was hard to watch. We couldn't get a stop. There was a stretch where they just weren't missing shots. And again, not a lot you can do when a team is making tough shots. As long as you're doing your best defensively, I can't hold that against you. What I can hold against you is, again, Cousins and other guys pretty much getting whatever they wanted going towards the rim. We just have no real interior presence. When we put Boban in, that was somewhat changed, but only changed in the willingness of guys to really attack. There was a little bit more hesitation to attack when Boban was in there. But even then, guys are able to get into him. He can't really jump. So they just have to measure and hope that they put it up high enough to go over his head. I saw people mad again about him giving up threes when, again, that's likely how he's supposed to be defending those situations. And nobody else was going to play that any differently besides maybe Maxey. So, again, when you look at defense, it's not about makes and misses. It's about, are you in the right spot? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? And for the most part, besides the stuff, all the interior stuff we were allowing, I'm not going to hold guys hitting threes over bigs' extended hands against the big. As a whole, it was just a disappointing effort. Tim Hardaway Jr. ended up with 15, but you gave me 21 yesterday, and you gave me 15 today when the other guy who scored 21 was gone. You should have had a bigger game. Hardaway, allegedly, according to some people, is the best we can do for a third option. So if he's the best third option we can have, when our second option is gone, I would expect him to be able to carry more of a load, and you cannot depend on him. So he is not the best third option we could get. We can do better. There's really not, I can't really hold too much against other people. I feel like As far as Willie Cauley-Stein and Boban are concerned, they're not 30 minutes a night type people. Boban's not a 20-minute guy. He had to play 20. And Willie Cauley-Stein's not a 30-minute guy. He had to pretty much do that. When guys like them, like Powell, are extended beyond their window, where Boban is probably 5-minute spurts twice, 2 or 3 times a game. And for Willie, it's probably 3 or 4 of those 5-minute spurts. Once you start getting out of that time frame, then you start to see the issues, and teams start to adjust. For Boban, as long as you're feeding him offensively, he's usually going to zero out. If you're feeding him offensively because they can't do anything with him offensively, and he's able to score, his scoring usually cancels out whatever defensive rotation issues are caused by him on the other end. And that's the least you can ask for of your backup big. But once he starts playing more than 5 minutes, okay, guys adjust. Now they take their time on their passes. They make sure that, they get us out of position and they're able to get a good shot out of their possessions. When you first put them in, it takes teams a little while to adapt to them, so you have to play them in those short bursts. Again, with Willie Cauley-Stein, the more he's on the court, the less freshness there is in his legs. And again, he starts getting pushed around in the post, etc. and so forth. As far as the other guys, I mean, Luke in these games, the only way we will win is if Luka decides to go completely bananas. Like, he has to seek his shot first, and that's counter to it. That's against what he's been trying to do. He's trying to not be the take every shots guy, but then we keep putting him in a position to take every shot. So it's hard for him right now to kind of figure out who he needs to be on a given night. He doesn't want to be the take every shot guy with us missing so many key players, on top of the fact that now we rest an extra player. You want to see him be able to turn that on and turn it off, but that's just not how he's built. So it's unfair to ask that of him. If we were going to roll out this game and just say it is what it is, whatever happens, happens, then he shouldn't have played. Why should KP get the rest and Luka go out there, bust his behind, get beat up for a loss? I saw several people tweeting, we lost this game before it even started. And we pretty much did. We pretty much said, hey, let's not put our best foot forward. Let's dial it back. We got a stronger weapon going into this fight. Let's take our shield off. Let's go out there and make it a more fair fight and fight straight up. It's a level of cockiness that we can't afford. We're already up against it with a depleted roster. Why make that even tougher? As far as Porzingis is concerned, for those that are going to say, oh, well, you have to be careful, blah, 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 he's coming off of surgery, blah, blah. Nah. He's had extra rest coming off the surgery. If anything, his conditioning would be a concern, but that hasn't appeared to have been an issue in recent games. The injury he had was a contact injury. The surgery, from everything I've heard, went well. I haven't seen any mobility issues from him. I've seen that both his knees actually take several hits in the games that he has played, and no reaction from him on it. He's healthy. He doesn't need more time to recover. He doesn't need a game of rest. It is what it is. I can't stop them from doing that. It brought up the old conversation that I've been having for over a year now, that if he's going to be resting for games, we should probably have more depth in our front court. And that it shouldn't be a huge stopping point to say that we might have to pay a little extra for a quality big man that can step up when KP is out. At the time, I don't like saying it because it insinuates that he's going to be injured. I don't even mean injured. If he's going to be resting randomly throughout the season, he's going to miss, 15, 20 games a season. It would make sense to have a guy that's able to fill in some of that missing productivity on the offensive side. Luka shouldn't have to be a full-time guy carrying the weight and have this part-time guy clocking in and out throughout the season. And having the cogs try to step up every other night to try to fill in the gaps for this guy that can't be there full-time. It's like running an office space and having two managers, one of whom gets paid ridiculous money, is the highest paid person on the team by far, but they just pop in and out. They get, hey, sorry, recovering. I'm going to be out the first 9-10 games of the season, or the sales quarter. I'm going to be out the first couple weeks of the quarter. And then when I do come back, every now and then I'm just going to not show up. The other guy, the new guy, the kid coming fresh out of college with his beginner salary, he's there every night, working hard. A lot is expected of him. And all the minimum wage employees have to step up too. And you can't even call them all minimum wage. Tim Hardaway Jr. is making $20 million also. James Johnson's making $19 million. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like to overreact. This isn't an overreaction. This is not me reacting to this game. This is me reacting to this team, the roster construction, and where we're going. So we want to be title contenders. Luka and KP are a big two. KP apparently can't play a full slate of games. He's 25. This isn't resting a 30-year-old vet. This is a 25-year-old. He's not even supposed to be in his prime yet. And we're resting him. That's not going to get better. I can't look at that and say I expect it to get better. So yeah, we probably should invest in a security blanket, which is the way I've been trying to put it, a security blanket for KP. Somebody that has complementary skills to him in some way, shape, or form, but can also play and do more when he's out. Somebody who could play with him, and maybe they play 25 minutes a game when KP's active. And then when KP's out, they can step up and do 30, 35. I think people need to open their minds. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. It's for me, it's a known unknown. For you, it's an unknown unknown. I understand that. But you're talking about it like you know, and you don't. You can't just dismiss the idea because, in theory, you think that it doesn't work. There's no evidence because we haven't seen it yet. And it's the same. It's the same people. It's the same people that say Dwight Powell should be starting over Willie Cauley-Stein when all evidence, even on a shitty night like this one, says that Willie Cauley-Stein is a better basketball player than Dwight Powell. And it's sad to say. But whatever mistakes Willie Cauley-Stein made tonight, would Dwight Powell have done any of them any differently? Was he blocking Cousins? No. With his T-Rex arm span? No. He was not blocking Cousins. Was he stopping him from getting to the hole? No. So, what? That argument is dead. I haven't heard much of that lately. I'm not going to go there right now. I know Powell is likely one of the two players that actually got really sick from this COVID, so who knows how that's going to actually affect him now coming back, which is tough knowing that, he spent so much time off with the Achilles injury. Now he comes back and gets sick from this COVID. We don't know what kind of long-term effects that's going to have on him, short-term effects that's going to have on him or his ability to contribute. We have to hope for the best. I think Dorian Finney-Smith is the other one. Again, this is me just filling in blanks based on things I've seen and heard. So we don't know how that's going to affect either of those guys long term. Richardson was on the bench tonight, which hopefully means we get him back early next week. Still no real word on Maxey. We know Maxey and Powell went out at the same time, so likely on the same starting point timeline. I don't know. We'll see as far as how those guys come back. Maxey fills a lot of holes, covers a lot of glaring weaknesses in this lineup or in our roster. But we have a big man problem. And we knew this. We knew this last summer. We knew this. Last summer we knew not even last summer, last year we knew. We've known this as an issue. Everybody has a different idea as to how we fix it, but we all know that is an area we need to upgrade. The question is how. The question is how much you're willing to spend to do it. For me, I don't think that there's a limit depending on who's available. You get the best player available, in my opinion. If you can get a good player for cheaper who does slightly less than the better player, that's fine too. I don't care about the money. It's not coming out of my pocket. After this summer, we can't spend it anyway. If they're married to Richardson, then that's the secondary wing guy. We're not going to sign Richardson to a big deal and get Oladipo. It's kind of a one or the other type of situation. So if that's happening, then you can spend a little more on a free agent big. The money does not come out of our pockets. The money doesn't matter. If it doesn't work after a while, but that player is still showing that they have the ability, then we can flip them. If we're bringing in one guy, and again, Richardson is our two guy of the future, then that one guy we bring in needs to be a big man. If that's $10 million, $15 million, $20 million, I do not care. Cuban is a billionaire. We could pay a luxury tax. Okay. This is a bit of a rant. I didn't really have a plan when I sat down tonight. I'm not doing no players of no night. I'm not doing no tweets of no night. I'm just annoyed. A lot of the conversations that I have to have on a daily basis on these apps. If you're a listener, you probably already agree with me, so I don't have any problem saying this stuff. People that don't agree likely tuned out a long time ago. But, and maybe you didn't agree or you were on the fence and I've pushed you over the edge. That sounded very ominous, actually. Oh, man. It's been a good week for me. I feel fine. I've been okay. I've gotten a lot of bad news lately, but, life goes on. So I'm trying to do the best I can to maintain. The next week is going to be fun for us. I just had to check the schedule. Nuggets on Monday. Jazz on Wednesday and Friday. So the Nuggets are a team that still have issues. They're missing Jerry and Grant badly. They just got Michael Porter Jr. back, though, so that's positive. And then the Jazz have been rolling. They're looking great. Effa Shaq. Let me look at the standings real quick. Yeah, the Jazz are number 2 right now in the West, 12-4 behind the Lakers at 13-4. The Clippers are also 12-4. By the way, Portland has not played but have slid up to the 4 spot. The Jazz are winners of 8 straight games. The Nuggets are winners of 3 straight. So we're playing hot teams this next week. After the Jazz, I believe that's the Suns. I can't read my own handwriting. That's fun. Is that the Suns? Yeah, the Suns back-to-back. Another Friday, Saturday back-to-back. The Suns are that other opponent. News came out today. We saw the injury if you were watching the game the other night. Booker got hurt at the end of the game the other night, and they're saying that he may miss another week with a hamstring injury. So there's a potential we deal with a Spurs team against Booker. That being on a back-to-back sounds like a strong candidate for the Mavs to decide not to play KP. We'll see if they've learned that lesson. Oh, especially if Gobert busts our ass in those back-to-back games. I know Gobert's unplayable or whatever, right? Yeah, we'll see. We will see this week. And then, of course, Jokic. Man, look. It could be a very ugly week for us. It could be a bloody week for this team. We have fallen to... Wait, what is this? Oh, I was like, what the heck? Had the full NBA list up. So the Mavs are currently in the 8th spot at 8-8, tied with the Warriors. The teams that we're playing, the Nuggets, currently have worked their way up to 5th at 9-7. Again, there's like a big stretch of teams that are within like a game of each other, from the Blazers at the 4 spot down to the Spurs at the 10 spot. There's like a game separating those teams. So we're in the middle. The teams that we're playing this week are ahead of us technically right now. So the Nuggets 9-7 are ahead of us. The Suns 8-7 are ahead of us, and then of course the Jazz, as I said, are 12-4. Oh my God, I got an eyelash in my eye. I'm trying to keep talking, but I'm struggling. Oh my God, having long eyelashes sucks. This happens so often. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. I can shut up. I should probably do that. Keep this down under 30 minutes. Yeah, we're at 21 plus the intro to 22, 23-ish or so. Look, guys, it's been a frustrating night. Doesn't look good this coming week. We knew that COVID was going to be an issue. Maybe we'll get Maxey back in the middle of next week. Maybe we'll get Richardson back. I feel like this team as a whole is only going to be better for having dealt with this. You look at a team like the Heat, who have been dealing with it for a while now. A lot of teams I feel like have done a good job of developing guys during this time, and I think we'll see the benefits of it on the back half of the season. I have to wonder if Silver's not on the phone about the vaccine at some point, the way things are going. But again, we'll see. We will see. I'm going to shut up. Hopefully we get a couple guys back this week. Otherwise, I'm hunkering down for an ugly week. I may do the podcast every night next week. We'll see how the games go and how I'm feeling. I got a little bit of writing I need to do on the side, and yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. I apologize. I'm not doing them after every game lately, but I'm trying to prioritize taking care of myself first. So until next time, people, peace.